We got funding for a major research program from the Liberian Trust to look into various aspects of science and politics. And the program started last May, but today we're launching the program officially so as to make it actually open to debate more widely. We have hired almost all our research fellows now, and it's another 4.5 years to go. So lots of things may happen which are unforeseen.
The kind of label we have given to the program is called Making Science Public. And we think one of the strengths of that label is that actually people can understand it in quite different ways.
I was interested in seeing the process in the making a bit, so to see what are people up to, what are their kind of questions, and how would their concerns kind of differ or tie up with concerns from another part of Europe.
So partly it's to kind of bring people together and have a lively debate, different universities, but also research councils, charitable bodies and others who are interested in this topic of making science public. But partly it's also to engage people who maybe we don't necessarily talk to on an everyday basis.
There are various types of scientific controversies around, and they're almost eternal controversies.
We started with an introduction and overview of the program, what we're trying to do by the director, Brigitte Nörlich.
We structured the day around a keynote lecture, which was given by Professor Ulrike Feld from the University of Vienna.
We want future generations seeing science and technology as prestigious and fascinating career opportunities. So for me, the essence is to understand that we need to more carefully attend to this idea of the public. So this is the kind of big thing I was after, is to kind of trace why it would be important to understand their concerns, their comfort zones, but also to attend more to their little stories and to see them as a trace, as a space of building different kind of visions, of resisting, of embracing, etc.
We've tried to give sort of snapshots of what we might be doing in the program, not just in terms of research, but also debates that we might have with a kind of wider public or online debates.
Salmonella and eggs is a particularly interesting one, I think, because as far as I cannot find any other examples of a minister who was obliged to resign for telling the truth. But
so there was one panel which was looking at issues around the politics of making science public. So partly it was about telling people about the projects that they've been looking at, but maybe trying to kind of open up some questions there.
People engage with things that they understand and that they've seen. They don't engage with one paper every year or two and a press release.
So we've got a question at the front and then one right at the back.
We had a session which was trying to give an opportunity for people who do science communication on a day-to-day basis, trying to get them in dialogue with people who might look at science communication in a sort of critical way.
I don't particularly agree that the opening up science agenda, the agenda to make science more transparent, neatly fits onto a sense of making science more public, because a lot of the time the drive is coming from market forces.
The most recent session was probably in some ways the most provocative because it was set up explicitly as a debate on this particular motion. The privatization of science is not in the public interest, and we had one member of the team speaking for and another kind of speaking against that. So that raised again a whole host of issues, which I think is the sort of thing we wanted to see. To conclude the day, we have kind of an open discussion, reflections on the day's the discussions, the debates, the talks, maybe what issues that haven't been raised that should be raised. So it's really an opportunity to kind of open things up.
I think it is important, if you give so much power and space to one kind of knowledge in a society, then I think there should be a possibility at least to kind of know more about it, engage with it if you want so.
For politicians to make decisions about science, they have to know what people think about science, and for that, science has to be made readily available to people living in a democracy who have to live with the decisions that are being made by the politicians who represent them. So there's a circle of publicness in a way, which has to be squared, if you like, where science can't just be done in an ivory tower. It has to be opened up to scrutiny by politicians, by various types of publics. And But how this process actually happens itself needs scrutiny.
We've had scientists, we have had people from a technology transfer office in our university, we have had people who write for various forms, various media, and I think, yeah, that's what we wanted, so we are very excited that we aren't just talking to ourselves as social scientists.
But I have certainly got a list of things to think about. One in particular is the emotional labour of scientists, and I've forgotten what they all are. About more prompting me to think about things that I'd already been thinking about, like public engagement research and what we mean by that, what the politics of crowdfunding might look like, what the new politics of the economics of science will look like.
Well, it's obviously a hugely ambitious and important project with a tremendous scope, and it's clear that there's a lot of work that needs to be done and that there's an exciting team working on it.
I think that this project here at Nottingham really has the opportunity to connect up internationally to a large set of other kinds of projects.
The Levium Trust is actually very keen on what they call scholarly understanding. We want to have a really in-depth understanding of the process of making science public. Not just, we don't just want short-term little projects which are then again being made public or delivered to policymakers for impact, for example. We want to have a really create deeper knowledge that lasts.